Sometimes the only way up is out. What do I mean by that? I work with so many women who are at a crossroads and in active career crisis, trying to figure out whether to stay, reposition, or exit from their role. And what I can tell you is that there are situations in which you've kind of reached a point of no return, and the only way forward where you can actually advance in your career, the only path ahead that's viable, that's going to give you advancement, is an exit, as opposed to trying and repositioning. So there are circumstances where I think that it is, if not impossible, then extremely difficult to reposition yourself and to recast yourself in a particular job or company. There are three factors that determine whether it is realistic for you to reposition yourself in a role, or whether it's really time for an exit because all viable options are really just closed off to you. The first is when you've been typecast, you've been labeled. So you've been labeled as defensive, you've been labeled as not a team player, you've been labeled as having an attitude, you've been tone policed, and you've been cast or typecast as a particular character. And it's going to be very difficult for people to form a different perception of you. The second difficulty is that you have no boundaries. What that means and how that plays out is that you are willing to do everything for the role, and you've left it all on the court. Let me give you an example. So I was 8 years in a senior director role as a senior tax professional for a large investment organization. And when I left, they reallocated my job responsibilities to 4 people. 3 people internally and 1 new hire. So let that sink in. I was effectively doing the job of 4 people, and I was never promoted. They had zero reason to promote me. They had no incentive to promote me if I was willing to do the job of 4 people without complaint. And by the way, much of what I was doing was absolutely invisible. They, the managers, the powers that be, had no idea that I was doing all of that until I left, or until I was transitioning. If you have no boundaries and you're willing to do everything and anything, there's zero incentive, there's zero business case to promote you. And then the final one is that you have a manager who is unsupportive and no sponsorship whatsoever. So no powerful sponsor, no person in authority who's going to slam their fist on a table and say, Sandra should be promoted. You know, it's time now. She's earned it. So if you don't have those people or that person in your corner, and on top of it, an unsupportive manager, that is an extremely difficult hurdle to overcome, together with the typecast hurdle and together with the boundary hurdle. So, you know, quite apart from the question of whether you should stay, reposition, or exit, which women are always so obsessed and hyper focused on when we're having our initial coaching conversations, I think the more compelling, the more important, the more critical question is, what are you getting there that would support a business case for you to remain in that place? How are they filling your cup? What kind of energy, support, validation, reasons are they giving you for you to remain in that position? What are you getting from that role? What are the expectations in terms of higher salary and career path, growth path, advancement path within that organization? And are you able to be, the most important question, at your best in that role, with those people, in that organization, in the position that you're in? Can you imagine? Can you visualize? Can you envisage a time, a situation, circumstances where you can be your best self, your best true self, without code switching, without over adapting, without hypervigilance, without bracing for the next bullet. Who can you be and what can you be in that particular position? So, I mean, that's what I've designed for. That is why I built my coaching program, which is effectively a crisis intervention program and a crisis resolution program. I built it for women who are experiencing what I experienced in the workplace. And by the end of it, you have such clarity about whether to stay, go, or reposition. But let me tell you something. In most of the cases, if you are coming into a coaching situation where you are looking for crisis intervention, resolution, and concrete solutions, it means that you're not in a good place, and you're probably not in a situation where you can be your best self. Check out my other videos where I go into detail about my coaching program, which goes over 3 critical steps, which is reframing your situation, repositioning, figuring out what do you want, where am I, what can I do, what is my position in the market, and finally relaunching with the critical tools that you need to actually reposition yourself in the market and secure the role that you actually deserve and that you have more than earned.